The Orlando Magic have now had 4 consecutive losing seasons. This team has not made the postseason since the bubble. And the Orlando Magic, while many outsiders have doubts and have their reasons as to why the Orlando Magic are not going to be a great team in 2023, there should be a lot of internal expectations for this Orlando Magic roster, the team moving forward, and how great this team can be in 2023. And ESPN disrespected the Orlando Magic by ranking them as the 13th best team in the Eastern Conference going into this season. Now I'm actually going to go ahead and read off the actual projections and the standings from ESPN going into this season. Now I'm going to go in order and I'll put the graphic up on the screen. You've got Boston, Cleveland, Milwaukee, Philadelphia, New York, Atlanta, Miami, Toronto, Brooklyn, Indiana. Then you go Charlotte, Chicago, Orlando, Washington, and Detroit. Now while the Orlando Magic did not make any huge splashes in free agency or via trade, this Orlando Magic roster has a lot of potential and a lot of upside. You've got a third-year head coach in Jamahl Mosley who's got a lot to prove. You've got 2 former #1 overall picks in Paolo Banchero and in Markelle Fultz, and Banchero is coming off the best rookie season we've seen in the NBA since the likes of an all-time great player in LeBron James. You've got another great core and nucleus piece with Franz Wagner, the former #8 overall pick in 2021. And overall, you look at the depth of what this Orlando Magic team has, it is limitless when it comes to its potential when you look at guys like Jalen Suggs, Cole Anthony, potentially a healthy Jonathan Isaac, the list goes on. The Orlando Magic are not only going to make the play-in tournament, they're going to make the playoffs, and I'm going to debunk this ESPN projection. Now, I'd like to preface my comments by saying 2 things first and foremost before we actually get into my first reason. The first one is we are going to assume health with this video, right? We're not going to talk about injuries. We're not going to talk about what if this player gets injured, what if this player gets hurt. We know the Magic have been an injury-riddled franchise in recent memory. And the second thing is, as I record this video, it is Monday, October 9th, which means that today, the Magic are getting ready to prepare for their first preseason game tomorrow evening to tip off the 2023 season. I made an entire players preview article breaking down the entire roster and going through player by player what we should expect from them going into this season. If you guys want to go ahead and check out that article, it's posted on the website. I'll go ahead and I'll link to it down below. But Magic fans, let's actually go ahead and talk about how ESPN has wrongfully placed the Orlando Magic in terms of seeding this upcoming season. Now, the first reason the Orlando Magic are not only going to be a play-in team, but this team is going to potentially make the playoffs, and they will make the playoffs, it's because of starting point guard Markelle Fultz, the former #1 overall pick in the 2017 NBA draft. Markelle Fultz has had a resurgence in his career since coming to Orlando. After the Magic started last season 5-17, all without Markelle Fultz, when he returned to the court, he made life a whole lot easier for this Orlando Magic team. They finished off the season 29-31 with Markelle Fultz appearing in those 60 games. The Magic are essentially a 500 team when they have their starting point guard. In 60 games last season for the Magic, Markelle Fultz averaged career highs across the board in points, assists, steals, and shooting. He averaged 14 points a game, 5.7 assists, chipped in a steal and a half, and he shot 51% from the field and 31% from 3. He's shooting with confidence. He looks like a guy who's actually active and wants to go out there and shoot the ball. He's became a reliable scorer. He's been a guy that can help orchestrate and facilitate in this offense and make life a whole lot easier for Franz Wagner, Paolo Banchero, and other primary ball handlers on this Orlando Magic team. Markelle Fultz, when he's healthy, is an extremely good point guard. His talent has still not reached his full capabilities, and Markelle Fultz is a huge reason as to why the Orlando Magic are going to be a great team in 2023. Now, the second reason ESPN was completely wrong about the Orlando Magic with this projection is with #1 overall pick Paolo Banchero and Franz Wagner. The Orlando Magic have 2 franchise players right now solidified that are untouchable and are the future of this team moving forward, and it's about building around your 2 center pieces. Now let's talk about Paolo Banchero and what he did last year in his rookie season. Like I mentioned earlier, Paolo Banchero put together one of the most incredible rookie seasons we've seen in NBA history, and the best rookie season since the likes of an all-time great like LeBron James, who's now the oldest active player in the NBA, which actually blows my mind. Paolo Banchero capped off his rookie season with 40 20-point performances, which was the exact amount LeBron had in his rookie campaign back in 2003 in the 04 season. Banchero also joins an elite list of rookies who averaged at least 19 points, 3 assists, and 6 rebounds, joining Blake Griffin, Michael Jordan, Grant Hill, Larry Johnson, Larry David, Walter David, and now Paolo Banchero. Now that Banchero is undisputably the face of this franchise and one of the young up-and-coming players in the entire association, he's going to be looking to lead Orlando to a potential playoff berth this season. And then you're going to talk about another centerpiece player in Franz Wagner, who has been nothing short of spectacular since coming into the league, and if anything, he has overachieved and exceeded expectations. Franz Wagner is a 6'10" forward who's an incredible player in the pick and roll. He's a very capable shooter, a versatile player on the defensive end, and he's essentially a positionless player who can fit any role you need him to play. To me, Franz embodies what a modern day forward looks like in a positionless game in the NBA. A guy who's gonna take it to the rack, he's gonna step out to the three-point line. His IQ is off the charts, his ability to read the floor. And you look at what Franz Wagner did last season. He averaged 18, 4, and 3 on 48, 36, 84 splits. Enough cannot be said about how great Franz was in his sophomore season, and expect big things from him in year 3. Because Franz Wagner and Paolo Banchero, who are now going to be playing in their second year together, these guys are going to take a tremendous leap forward, and I do think with their time spent at FIBA this offseason, playing in the Olympics, obviously Banchero for USA and Germany for Franz Wagner, you are going to see tremendous growth from these two individuals that are going to be the catalyst for why the Orlando Magic are going to make some noise this season. Now, the third and last reason why ESPN was completely wrong with these projections and why this Orlando Magic team is going to make the playoffs is because of its defense, and you're specifically going to look at two players, two guys that are capable of making an all-NBA defensive team when you talk about guard Jalen Suggs and Jonathan Isaac. Now, let's start with Jalen Suggs, because Jalen Suggs, since coming into the league back in 2021, he felt like an absolute steal of the draft when the Toronto Raptors surprised everybody by selecting Scottie Barnes with the number 4 overall pick. Now, Jalen Suggs has only appeared in 101 of 184 potential games. Injuries have derailed this young man through the start of his NBA career, and also not being a consistent and reliable shooter from deep has really hindered his full capabilities and his success. But Jalen Suggs is absolutely one of the best guard defenders in the entire association. In his second season, Jalen Suggs was in the top 10% among guards in steal percentage, block percentage, offensive rebound percentage, and he guarded the opponent's primary ball handler 81% of the time. Per 75 defensive possessions for the Magic, Jalen Suggs averaged 2 steals and 3.7 deflections, which were both top 10% in the NBA among all players. And to add on to Jalen Suggs' defensive impact, the Orlando Magic had a 111 defensive rating when Suggs was on the floor, which was 2.7 points better per 100 possessions than the actual team average. And when you talk about Jonathan Isaac, yes, Jonathan Isaac is only a guy since 2017 who's appeared in 147 games. It is not good, it's not good enough. And Jonathan Isaac, when he's on the court, is a phenomenal player, right? Now, that's the big if with him, right? We've seen a multitude of injuries. He's not eclipsed playing at least 34 games since 2019, 2020. We know Jonathan Isaac has to stay healthy, and when he is, this is arguably a top 5 to top 10 defender in the game of basketball when you talk about defensive versatility, his ability to stop the player's best player on opposing teams, and what Jonathan Isaac can do to make life a lot easier for other guys like Paolo Banchero, Wendell Carter, and a handful of others on the defensive side of the ball. Now, throwing in a last bonus topic as to why the Magic will make this year's playoffs, because ESPN clearly did not get it right, is because you look at the depth and how weak the Eastern Conference is in general. To me, you're expecting a breakout season from other guys like Jalen Suggs, who I expect not only defensively to continue to be great, but also for him to become a reliable shooter from distance. I'm not asking Jalen Suggs to shoot 38, 39% from deep, but I do think him shooting over 35% from deep consistently on a night in and night out basis and helping alleviate some pressure off of other primary ball handlers, that's not too much to ask for, and he is the starting two guard of the future for the Orlando Magic. You look at Wendell Carter Jr., who's only just 24 years of age. He has fit in seamlessly as the replacement for Nikola Vucevic, and he arguably had his best season last year with shooting across the board and also his efficiencies in general. And then you're gonna also look at other guys who are gonna make solid contributions on this team when you look at the depth, with two guys notably, with guys like Gary Harris and Cole Anthony. Cole Anthony, since coming into the league, he's embraced this new six-man role that Jamahl Mosley has asked of him to be an absolute bucket getter and to provide that spark off the bench for this team. He's got the green light. We know the kind of high flyer that he is, and what he can provide to this team offensively speaking is going to be huge. I expect Cole Anthony to be in contention for the Sixth Man of the Year award. You're gonna look at a guy like Gary Harris, who just shot a career high from distance, as much as a lot of Magic fans want to get onto him. He shot over 43% from deep this past season. Now, Gary Harris is still gonna get rotational minutes, as he should, but this Magic team desperately needs shooting. This Magic team needs veteran leadership and presence, and that's something another guy like Joe Ingles is gonna provide. Coming over from the Milwaukee Bucks, Jingling Joe Ingles is one of the most selfless teammates and one of the most selfless players you will ever meet. A great locker room guy. He's gonna be a great veteran and mentor to this team, and he's also a career 40.8% shooter from deep. Now, when you actually look at the rest of the Eastern Conference and what it embodies, to me, there's only two teams at the top that actually scare me. Everybody else in the middle, I think Orlando can go out there and compete with on a night in and night out basis. The Boston Celtics and the Milwaukee Bucks should be the two clear and definitive favorites in the Eastern Conference. And when you look at the rest of the teams in the middle in the East, you're gonna look at the New York Knicks, the Atlanta Hawks, the Cleveland Cavaliers, the Philadelphia 76ers, the Miami Heat, maybe the Brooklyn Nets. None of these teams really scare me all that much, and who even knows if Donovan Mitchell is gonna be there after the trade deadline for the Cleveland Cavaliers. Now, that's just speculation, but otherwise, the rest of the Eastern Conference does not scare me, and I do think that the Magic are more than capable of competing with any of these teams. The last thing I'm gonna say to wrap up this video is that if the Orlando Magic can stay healthy, which is a big if, but if they can stay healthy, and they showed that they are a 500 team with just Markelle Fultz on the court, you're gonna get a better second year from Paolo Banchero, you're gonna get a better third year from Franz Wagner, and the core and the nucleus of this team is more intact and they have a lot more chemistry and continuity together. There is no way the Orlando Magic do not finish above 500. That's just my thoughts on it. Now, Magic fans, to wrap up this video, I want to know your guys' thoughts in the comments down below. Do you guys think that ESPN got these projections wrong? And if so, where do you see the Magic finishing this season, especially when we're considering health? Let us know your guys' thoughts in the comments down below. And if you guys enjoyed today's video, make sure you guys go ahead and drop me a thumbs up. It takes 1 second and it helps me the channel out tremendously. If you guys are new here, consider hitting that subscribe bell to stay tuned for more Orlando Magic content that we do here on YouTube. And make sure you guys also go ahead and follow me, Brett James, and Orlando Magic HQ on all of our socials, but especially on Twitter. We're both very active and we're on there every single day. The link tree will be in the description down below so that you guys can go ahead and check that out. But Magic fans, thanks again for sticking around throughout the whole video. Brett James, AKA BJ, I'm out, y'all. Go Magic, baby. Peace.